Hey guys, it's Volt and welcome back to another video. So as you see, I'm on my Scratch editor because GameMaster64 asked me to make a video of me showing my workflow of drawing and making the visuals, and even adding some tips of animating. I'm gonna give you some tips on how to make your drawing efficient and even give you some tips on how to make your graphics pop. Alright, so when beginning the actual office, you need to know the actual floor plan of it. So now I want to make a small map on how the office can look like a floor plan of it. So it's important for you to know. I came up with a giant hallway in the middle, and also maybe a door on the left side. Now, offices are really diverse in how they look like and what entrances they have. Some of them have vents, some of them have windows, some of them have doors. But now, let's make the actual sketch of the office first. So, I begin by often making a brighter floor. You know, have it brighter than the walls. So let's just do this. And in order to make the room look like you're in it, you may do it like this. The floor, maybe flatten it a little. There we go. So it looks like you're in the actual room. And then slowly, drag some lines up here. Like that. Now we also need a wall. So let's do that too. I often have, darker. I often have the walls darker than the floor. So let's have it like this. And if you want to have a ceiling too, that also works. Then you can just copy it like that. Easy. Let's do it like this, and make it flatter than the floor too. In order to have some color variety, you can also make it darker than the wall and the floor. So now this is the actual sketch of the office, but let's make the entrances now. So the entrances aren't, difficult really. Just add a large black cube here. There we go. And in order to make a, when a door is on the side, it doesn't really look that good when it's just like this. But if you back it off a little, there we go. It looks a bit better, but it still looks a little, doesn't really look that good from the top. It's an easy fix, just drag it down like this. And there we go. Alright, so now that the sketch is done, let's actually make some detail to the office. So things that I do often add is maybe a lamp on the ceiling. Let's just begin with that. So you just make another costume like this. You should maybe make the lamp into a darker color, and then the actual light completely white, of course. So just do that. There we go. Maybe a little bit larger. Great. And now? So it can be pretty simple as that. But of course you want to add some lighting effects. When I say lighting effects, often, if you've seen my gameplays, I often talk about lighting effects, and this is what I mean. Just like that. It's also good to drag these corners right here. Like that. And here we have it. And maybe if you want to go a little bit extra, you can also add a little circle like this, and boom, we now have a light. So that is exactly what I mean with lighting effects. And of course I'm gonna add the darkness effects too, so it seems like the light is actually working. But now let's make a desk, because why not? I mean, if you don't have a desk in your FNAF fangame, what are you doing with your life? Now let's get into it. I like to make my desks silver colored, but it's completely up to you. You can also have it brown colored if you want to. So you just have it on, maybe on 10, and make it a little darker, and that's it. But you know me, I love to have them rather silver colored, so that's what I'm gonna do. So, and you may ask me why I'm doing this, why I'm making the actual disc in a separate sprite. Well, it's actually pretty important. Now, if you want your visuals to pop, you need to have like some motion in your office instead of like a static image. So what I'm gonna do is then I'm gonna add a fan and maybe some monitors with some static, but of course I need to make like the actual thing. And also add some like really long rectangle, so it looks like the desk is made of paper. And of course you maybe want to do some legs for it, but I tend to prefer having it like this. It's like a leg like this. I mean a leg like this, and then having some drawers back here. There we go. So again, it's just these small details that really matter. And if you want to make it a bit more better, just make a darker color and add it under here. And boom! You now have a pretty good desk. It looks pretty good actually. So that's pretty much how I do my desks in FNAF games. But now let's begin with actually making the fan and the monitors. And maybe like a doll or something of like the animatronic or whatever you want to do. It is completely up to you, okay? So, I mean, that's the thing with FNAF games. I mean, it's not really a simple formula. You of course need to do some things yourself. But if you follow similar steps like I do, you may greatly improve your visuals. Now let's begin with the fan. Now listen, there are two ways to make your fan. Let's begin with the first way. So now I need to do a little brighter silver color for the fan. Can I like this? I recommend maybe grouping it so it's easier to drag it around. Add a long rectangle, and you need to drag in the middle like this. So it kind of connects to the circle down here. We'll maybe make it like this. There we go. And then make a darker color and make a similar step. You have it. And of course you may want to add some extra stuff, like maybe a button for turning the fan on and off. And make the outline thinner. Zoom in. Make a rectangle, and make sure that it doesn't really, you know, clip out like this. We don't want that. There we go. And of course make it similar to the other side, and yeah, just drag it like that. And we pretty much have a button for turning the fan on and off. Maybe not really for, you cannot actually do it in gameplay, but it's still nice to add. And you may also, I mean, it looks like a disc, just a simple disc. But what we can do is making it like that, so it looks like more like a more compound, if that is a good word for it. You see what I mean? So it like looks like a thick piece of metal, not just a disc of paper. But now let's make the blades. Make a circle, and then two long rectangles, which is gonna be like the actual blades. Just copy, and then make sure that it's 0 degrees. So just put it like that. Brilliant. Maybe make it a little smaller, of course. Here we have it. But now let's make the actual animation for the blade. It's pretty simple. You just need to set the fan here. There you go, to front. So now you want to seem like the blades are spinning really quickly. So just add a thing like that, and then just drag it out like this. Simple, right? So just do it to all of the blades. Here we have it. Anyways, let's just make the actual animation of the blade spinning. There we go. So now let's try it out, shall we? So just put in a forever and next costume, and it seems like the blade is actually it's actually moving really quickly. However, it may not really look that great sometimes. Now listen, there's also another thing you can do, and that is by making a clone of the blade and then having the degrees like this just go on forever. So let's just try that. We can just copy it. It's pretty simple. So just put it like this, or maybe not a clone, but a separate sprite. Put it in the middle, because otherwise it may not look so good. It may look like that, and we don't want that to happen. So instead, put it in the middle. Just put it like that, and we should probably get rid of it. Let's put maybe a 15 degrees turn. And forever, and it may look a bit smoother, maybe make it a little quicker. So now the difference is when it comes to the costume, you can pretty much just change how you want it to be, like 1, 2, 5, 6, 70. You can change the speed of the blades however you desire. If it maybe goes too slow, you can just add like that, compared to a costume where you need to like change the costumes every time so it looks faster or slower. So I totally advise having a separate sprite instead, but it's completely up to you. But now let's make the monitors. We want to do a monitor, of course, for the desk here. Let's just remove them. I'm quite content with this one. Let's make a monitor, or multiple monitors, of course. But it's pretty simple. Just have one like this, and yeah, maybe add some sort of red glowing dot. When I say glowing, just put red and transparent, maybe. Just drag it all over and put it in the center of the button. There we go. And then just copy, group, copy, paste. Okay, we have one. Another good thing you can do is having like different angles to them. Let's make it a little thinner, and then add a few lines like this, so it looks like it's not made of paper. Do this so it looks like an actual monitor. We put a brighter color on the top of it. Just drag it all over. So make sure that it doesn't cross the outlines, and just click on back. Here we have it. And then put maybe a darker color, and the same thing, just drag it all over. Make sure it doesn't cross the outlines. Click on back, and that's it. Maybe I should probably make it a little brighter. That's way too dark. And then let's just put another red dot. There we go. So as you see, it adds some variety. So yeah, this looks good. And we can maybe just add. I'm gonna be lazy right now. Let's just put a smaller one on top. And there we have it. So now it's time to make the actual static. So here we have my static thing, my static costume. I really love this one. So it's pretty simple. Just make it small, and make sure that make sure to leave some outline. Yeah, pretty much like this. I'm gonna do the animations later on, of course. And I do recommend to have like different costumes, so it looks like you know, adding some diversity. You know what I'm saying. Then, when it comes to screens like this, it can be pretty simple to do. It's gonna work a little bit differently from these screens. I'll show you. So just copy this one, make it smaller. So here we have it. So now we have static in all of these monitors. Again, you want to add some motion to the office. So we have a fan and we have some screens. So it's gonna make the office like more vivid, if that makes sense. Now let's work on the actual animation of the screens. So I do not recommend to do the lazy way of just flipping them. So maybe take this one and then just insert it. And we have it. Now, it can also be efficient in just switching the static costumes with each other. as you see that I did there. So yeah, that is also a good way to improve efficiency. Alright, so let's see how it looks. There we have it. So again, how many costumes you want to have, that is completely up to you. The more costumes you have, the better the animation will look, so I recommend making as many as you can to make the animation high quality. So let's also turn on the fan for some extra. As you see, there's like a bit of movement. It's not just a static image. But now I want to try to make a parallax effect. Or maybe not really a parallax effect, but you can look around the office. So let's try doing that. Do a set to Y and set to X. Go to operators. Pick this block right here. Insert it into these set X, set Y blocks. And have it on the Y and mouse X. And maybe minus 0.2? Minus 0.5? 0.5 I mean, sorry. Alright, maybe that was maybe way too much. There we have it. Maybe so you can look at the door right here. Here we have it. So now you can look around the office more. It looks pretty weird with the desk just being in the same place. So it's easy, just drag it all over here. Just put on the same thing. Now, if you may have a similar problem like I have here, it's easy. Just click on the change Y by maybe put it on 0.20. Just put it. You need to put it in the bottom, of course. The blade. It's simple too. Just go to sprite 1, which is the desk, and just click on forever. Alright, so sometimes it may be out of place, but it's also easy to fix. Just do the same thing I did to the desk. There we go. So now we pretty much have a fully working office. But now let's begin with the actual darkness effect. So what you want to do is just make another sprite, make it completely black, and of course you may want to add the this thing again to the darkness effect, and then just put in some eraser, because again these are screens that are active, so we want like it to light up in this area. Not really that good, but just drag it all over here, and of course make it look natural. And then we also want to add with the lamp too. As the cherry on top of the cake, just put some darkness effect like this. If it looks a little weird, like as you see with this one, it gets darker and darker and darker, and then completely black. But in this one, it doesn't really look the same. So other ways to fix that is add just a cube or a rectangle, sorry, and just drag it over here. There we go. So let's make the same thing for the lamp too. Looks so good. But of course we cannot make it completely black. Of course we need to add a bit of a ghost effect, which we have here. So maybe 50. And yeah, but maybe, I don't know, it looks a little weird we want like the darkness to become darker, or like in the corners. But that is also easy to make. So there we go, we're just making it better and better. But of course, we want to add some good old detail. So let's do that. So it's important, you know, look at this office. It looks really empty, a little boring, you know. A good way of making detail is making, you know, some small adjustments. So as an example for the door right here, or both of these entrances, we can make a little darker. Add an outline, you go back, and there we go. So like make a cover, and we want to do the same thing to the door that goes sideways. So that is just one That's just one thing, of course. This is not the only thing we're gonna do. Like, this wall looks a little empty. Let's try to add something to that. So make sure that it like fits to the wall, because it goes sideways. It doesn't really make sense to put it up like this, because it would make sense to put it here in a flat wall, but not here. So let's just copy, paste, make some of them bigger, some of them smaller. And there we have it, some papers. And maybe add some text, or maybe not text, just scribble a little on them. So we can also add the corner looks pretty empty. Let's add a trash can maybe. And adding a trash can is also pretty simple. Just make an oval, or like a disc, whatever you want to call it. Make sure to make another rectangle, and just make it look like this. But again, small things matter, so put in a few like paper, I don't remember how you call them, but like a crumple up paper. Yeah, right. We may also need to drag it down a little. So there we go. So it looks like the paper is actually inside of the trash can. So again, another tip is if you don't really want to like drag around a lot of different shapes for some reason, I don't know, you're maybe as lazy as me, you can just copy it like this and use these two buttons as your advantage, because you can just pretty much cover this part and then rotate it and put it in the far back. So that's just one way to make things simpler and more efficient. What more things can we add, you may ask? Well, we can maybe add a cup when you want to make the holder. Yeah, it can be a little complicated. So yeah, just try to copy the same thing that I do. It's pretty difficult to describe how you can do the whole thing. Let's just put it down here and then copy, paste, paste. So now we have a cup. You know, you see it's starting to be more and more. We're starting to get more things around here. So these are some tips. Look at areas where it seems to be a little empty. Let's see, the table looks a little empty. How about we try to add something to that one? Maybe a doll. That looks nice. That is pretty nice to add. So now we made the office. But now, again, as I said in the beginning, animations. Let's get onto it. So I'm gonna try with a jump scare. So let's try with Acid here. He's gonna be our test subject today. So let me show you the rules of animation. So what you want to do is make sure that every part is moving, like every body part that your character has. Maybe his entire body and his head. When something is happening quickly, a good way to make it look like it is happening quickly is making things like this. So we can do it with pretty much every single body part right here. It looks like he's melting away, doesn't it? So there we go. Now you can actually see it. I mean, first you can't really see it, but now you can see it. And as he's, you know, centering towards the screen, we want him to, like these things to slow down. So we just do them shorter. Just make them shorter, I mean. So now, if we do the animation, it's gonna look like he's, you know, really quick when he slides into the center. Yeah, let's just make him, like, jump into the player's face. Alright, so let's see the animation. There we go. But guys, that was actually the end of the video. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. And I will see you in the next video. Adios.